set of notes for chapter 12, and this is by far my favorite. We're going to be multiplying binomials, and as you know, binomials have two terms in them, and we're going to use this method called the FOIL method, which I love. And you're going to meet a strange man named Bob today as you FOIL, so get ready for him. Alright, so the first thing you need to know is that a lot of people, when they're multiplying two binomials, so a binomial times a binomial, very common wrong answer is x squared plus 8, because a lot of people just do x times x and then 2 times 4. But when in truth, you have to actually distribute 4 different times. So when you have two different binomials, one method you could do is just the regular distributive property. And like I said, you're going to actually have to distribute 4 different times. And a lot of people only do 2, and that's where the mistake comes in. So you can multiply x times x and x times 4, and then do the same thing for 2. 2 times x, and then 2 times 4. Now I think that way is kind of boring, but a lot of people like it. So if that works for you, then that's what you can do. If you want a little bit of excitement in your life, you can try the second method of multiplying binomials, and that would be the FOIL method. And I love this method because if you use it, it's kind of a trick to help you remember what to do when you have these. It's a mnemonic, if you will. So we have first, outer, inner, last for FOIL. Now the F stands, like I said, stands for first. Sorry, I write like a second grader with this thing, but you know that by now. So we have our first 2 terms that we're going to multiply first, and then we're going to go to the outer 2 terms, and then our inner is for I. We're going to multiply the inside 2 terms, and then the L stands for last, when you multiply the last 2 terms. So if you can remember FOIL, you can remember exactly what steps to take. So you're going to multiply 4 different times, but it's just in a different pattern. So the first 2 terms would be the first term in this binomial times the first term in this binomial. So the x and the x. Then we go to the outer 2 terms. So we have the x and the 4. Those are on the outside, so those are the outer 2 terms. And then we go to the inner 2 terms, and that would be the 2 inside terms. And then the last are the last 2 terms in each binomial. So it would be 2 here and 4 here. So as you see, I distributed 4 different times. I just did it in a little different pattern, and the reason we do that is so we can meet Bob. Now Bob, if you're having trouble seeing him, here are his eyes, here's his nose, and we've got his mouth. See him? Hopefully you do. He's kind of cute. So FOIL is just a fancy way to multiply these binomials so you'll never forget how to do it. So we're going to do a couple of these examples, and then we'll do some in class tomorrow too. So first, outer, inner, last. So let's go ahead and start off here and actually simplify them this time. So x times x is going to give us x squared. Remember your power rules with that. And then we have our outer 2 terms, so x times 8. Now remember, always the coefficient is your number here, so the 8 has to go first. So we have 8x. Sorry guys, got a little messy. And then our inner 2 terms would be the 5 and the x, so 5 times x would give us plus 5x. And then our last 2 terms would be the numbers, so we have 5 times 8. So we have, remember always to multiply when you're distributing, so plus 40. Okay, so you've distributed 4 times. You have 4 different terms. Now here's where the weird part comes in. If you're noticing, hopefully you see, wait a second, these are like terms, which we've been practicing all chapter. So if you have an 8x plus a 5x, we gotta smush those together. So to simplify this completely, we're gonna bring down this x squared. Now, simplifying this, we're just adding them together because that's what it wants us to do. So plus 13x, and then we're going to bring down that 40. So if you did it correctly, you should have a trinomial, 3 different terms, because you're always going to combine those middle 2 terms. Sound good? All right, so let's go ahead and we're going to skip this one. We're going to do it in class tomorrow. And let's just do one last practice here as quick as possible. If you want to turn me off and try this on your own, you can. This one has coefficients for this, so 5x times 3x would give us 15x squared. Outer two terms, watch those negatives and positives, so negative 15x, and then, oops, sorry guys, and then plus 21x, and then our last, negative 21. So, always combine your middle two terms. So we're going to combine those if we can. And we have, bring everything down, switch colors here. So 15, oh geez, sorry guys, 15x squared plus 6x minus 21. Sorry, that one was a little messy. So you have a trinomial again. So hopefully you're seeing the pattern, and hopefully you like FOIL as much as I do. And I will see you guys in class tomorrow. Questions first, remember that. See ya.